The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's Nick Eatman.
What's up? Welcome to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette. I am Nick Eatman, and the season is officially over. It's been over for the Cowboys for a few weeks, obviously, from a postseason standpoint, or lack thereof. But as far as the season goes, we are officially done. Cowboys lose to the Giants 34-17. Haven't said that a lot. I don't think I've ever said that on this show. Cowboys Storyline. We've only been doing this show now for 3 full seasons, so no, I've never said Cowboys have lost to the Giants before, but they did, and they, once again made the Giants. Some of the Giant players on offense turned. It's too bad. If you play the Cowboys defense, you want the Pro Bowl voting to still be in play, because I think there's probably been some guys that could make the Pro Bowl based off of how they've played the Cowboys. It's unbelievable. It happened again. With Jackson Dart and some of these guys that just that you've really hadn't heard of, that just kind of weave through this defense. So I thought the Cowboys might finish strong a little bit and get a win to get to 8-8-1. Did not happen. The Cowboys fall. They're 7-9-1. Obviously, they've never had that record before, but 7-9-1 gives them the 12th overall pick in the draft. They have one of two. We'll see what the Packers, how they finish. It'll be in the 20s or 30s. Let's hope not. But it'll probably be in the low 20s. But definitely picking 12th for the second year in a row. So. And really a third time in the last 5 years. But if they can get anybody close to who they've drafted, and Parsons and Booker, should be another good player coming here. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Irene in Falls Church, Virginia. Irene is first. What's up?
Hey, good morning, I guess.
Yeah.
Or good afternoon. Sorry, it's not morning.
All good.
Anyway, so I'll comment on, of course, the biggest thing in Cowboys Nation right now, which is the 10 to 12 days that it will take to evaluate the defensive coordinator. For me, I would have done like week 10 to 12 on that decision, but I am hopeful that, like with the Shoddy move, they are at least looking at fielding calls, putting feelers out there for some of these other candidates. I would bring Morris in. I'd bring Schwartz in. There's a few that, we have opportunities here, so don't waste that. And then I had a trade idea. It's about our players, so don't worry about that. So I think one of the things we don't do well is trade our players for value. It's something I think Philly does really well, like Carson Wentz. I'm team keep Jeep, but I wanted to throw a scenario out there between Flanoy and Pickens. So if you had a first and let's say a fourth for Pickens versus a fourth for Flanoy, which way would you move, and which way do you think the Cowboys would move? Because if you do that with Pickens, you might end up with 3 first rounds and be able to go get somebody else and leverage it that way. That's for me. I want to keep Jeep, so I think I would get rid of Flanoy in that situation. Those are my choices. Yeah. All right, thanks.
All right,
bye.
Thanks for the call. I'm not 100% sure that what you would get for Flanoy if you wanted to kind of go that route. As a young developing player, I still, I think one of the reasons you don't see a lot of trades like that, not everyone loves the value that they're getting back. And sometimes when you trade guys, you're taking a contract hit too. So you can get out of the contract in certain ways, but sometimes you're also gonna take kind of a contract hit as well. It's kind of like the Packers did when they traded Kenny Clark. I mean, they took a pretty big contract hit with him. Pickens, to trade him, you're going to have to put the franchise tag on him. So you're not just going to trade him, I don't think, right now. I think you're going to put the tag on him. And then after that, then there would be some trade talks as well. To answer the question, would you rather trade him and get a first and a fourth, or rather get a fourth for Flournoy. I'd rather trade him and trade Pickens and get a first and a fourth if that was my two options. I'd like to see Pickens back here, though, to be honest. I mean, I don't really love those two scenarios, but if I had the choice to try to get him, I'd like to have him back. All right, let's go to Davion in Illinois. What's up?
What's up? What it do, man? Afternoon show, I see.
Yeah, we're going to do this here just to kind of finish out the season. But what are you up to?
Man, I was talking to, we got a group chat, so I was arguing with Rob last week about this game, and I was trying to tell him that if it meant something to the players and the coach, then I don't mind Dak going to play. But then we watched the game yesterday, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought we was actually going to try to take it serious. I mean, Dak only threw the ball 11 times. We've seen Blue, but what it could have been with Blue, that was nice. But I just, honestly, if it was going to play it like that, the way it looked in my eyes, I'd rather Dak just sit out and just roll into the rest of next year, because it seemed like they were really trying to win. Of course, our defense is terrible, so they made Jackson Dark and some guy named Oshowski or whatever his name is look good. So I'm like, so man, I was kind of disappointed. I'll be honest, I was disappointed in the effort that I saw from just basically as a fan. It's like, man, we really wanted to. It's the Giants, man. It's not really. We beat D-Boy like 14 straight times. Why we just getting kind of running up in the first half, then let Dak them chill out. But
Right. All right. Well,
but yeah,
I'm
wrapping up the season.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just said I'm with you on that. I understand, kind of the frustration. Again, it all comes down to the agenda that they're not really saying. Dak didn't say, and Shoddy didn't say. I mean, what's the real reason is kind of what I wanted to know. And the only thing I could come up with is I think Dak wanted to play 17 games. I think that was important to him. He wanted to play and start every game. Here's an injury-prone. For the last couple of years, he's sort of been injury-prone. For him to come back in year 10 and start every game, I thought that was important for him. So and that's the only thing I could think of why he would play, because you're right. If you're trying to win, then try to win. If you're trying to get the passing record, then go get the passing record, or whatever it is. But the only thing I could think of is that he wanted to start the game, and then that was it. That's all I could think of.
Yeah. That's a good explanation, because like I said, man, I kind of was let down because the way we came out and did what we did. I was like, man, I ain't want us to go out like this. But if it can go out like this and we can go and get rid of the DC and possibly the special teams guy, then I'm cool with it, because we got to get some changes. We got to get some changes now. But we got plenty of time in the offseason to talk about it, because, I'll be chiming in with it. But, yeah, just appreciate you taking my call. And
All right.
See you next week.
Appreciate it. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. We will continue to have shows on Wednesdays, throughout the season, and Wednesday morning we'll have those shows. All right, let's go to let's take a break real quick on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Crown Royal and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing back the Royal Rig for Season 2. See it in action at AT&T Stadium on Thanksgiving Day, where the Dallas Cowboys take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and around Dallas on November 26th and November 28th. Visit crownroyal.com to see where else the Royal Rig is stopping this NFL season. That's crownroyal.com. Please drink responsibly.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette. Let's go back to the phone lines here. We have Brian in Kansas City. Brian, what's up?
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing?
Well, man, it's a melancholy day. Football is over, at least for us. You know?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Listen, I've been holding this beer for 18 weeks. Do you think Flus wants it back now?
Yeah.
So I want to ask a question. Nick, we asked this question. I don't remember who it was, and I want to just give a shout-out to Irene. Irene's out there beating the bushes to get callers. She sent me a text message saying, hey, we got a weird time today. And
nice.
And you know, because a lot of times we just don't know. You know,
no, I know.
When things ship like this, I know you make announcements and stuff. I'm just saying, you know, people that are in their lives, in their day-to-day lives.
That's why she's the captain. I mean, she's the best. I knew she would. I knew she'd come through. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So the question I want to ask is something that we've asked before, but now it's the time to look at this. If you were saying who and what on this defense can I build around, and I'm talking about players, not coaches.
Yeah,
I'm making the assumption the coach is gone, but with players, who do we say it is? I'm going to give you 4, and 2 of them are because of performance. 2 of them are because we just re-signed them, and I don't think we have a choice. So obviously, I think we're going to keep Williams. I think we're going to keep Overshown. We just re-signed Bland and Osa. Right. So I don't think you can get out of those contracts at the snap of a finger, even if you really wanted to. So I think those are the 4 that you're starting with. Maybe just give your opinion. Who the hell else can we build around? What did we see that we could say, man, that's something to build on?
All right.
I'll listen to that off air, brother.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, let's just call it what it is. I mean, this was the worst defense in the history of the Cowboys. So, like in certain statistics, they're allowing 30 points a game. I don't want to build around anything. I don't want to build around this. This was bad. You don't build around this. You've got pieces in place, like that contract-wise. Quinnen Williams, Osa, Overshown, Bland. Yeah, you mentioned those 4. Or Ezaraku's another one. Again, younger players or signed, or Malik Hooker is also has another year left. I think he's fine. A little, he got banged up some, but I think Malik Hooker is a good solid player. He can come back too. There's not many though, and there shouldn't be. I mean, so I've heard this question a lot. Is it players? Is it coaches? Is it the personnel, or is it the coaches? It's going to be both. It's going to be both. They're going to make changes as the coaches, and they're also going to change a lot of the personnel as well. And some of those guys that I mentioned here, I mean, Overshown included. I mean, like, you don't have to. Overshown doesn't have to be your best player. I mean, if that's who he is, and he is healthy and all that, great. I'd like to see him, him out there more in a full offseason and all that. But I mean, he's flashed a few plays here and there, but not to the point where you're like, you got to build around him. This is a contract year for Overshown, actually. All right, let's go to Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What do you got?
That is, unfortunately, that's my fear. I could see Jerry blaming this all on Eberflus, and that's a mistake. There's no talent on this defense. I don't care who the coach was this year. Could a better defensive coordinator made it a little better? Yes. but there's no talent. Your best players weren't even on the team to begin with. Your best pass rusher sat on the couch most of the year. And Quinnen Williams, the rest, if you could get out from under most of them, I would do it. But I'm just afraid Jerry's going to blame it on the coach. He's going to hire a new DC, and he's going to do what he does in free agency, bottom feed, and he's going to say, well, the coach is going to fix this. And if he thinks that, we'll be right back here next year in the same boat. He's going to, people say, well, why is he going to take 10, 12 days? Simple. He wants to stay in the headlines. It's the playoffs. We're not in the playoffs. But the Cowboys stay in the headlines because they're waiting to see that guy get fired. So
hold on real quick, Rob. Do you believe 10 to 12 days? Is there anybody believes 10 to 12 days?
No, I can't see this going past Friday, me personally. And if it does,
10 to 12 days
dumb.
for what? Like for the defensive coordinator decision? No. They've had 10 to 12 days that they've been out of the playoffs for 10 to 12 days. I think that's a standard thing that coaches say. I think Shoddy might have said that, but I don't necessarily believe that. And because there's certain decisions you're not going to leave people twisting in the wind for that long, and nor would you want to. So no.
And I hope Shoddy, I hope Jerry holds him accountable too.
Yeah.
Shoddy's being let off the hook because they're saying, well, he's a first-year guy. We didn't expect much. Says who? I mean, Chicago had a first-year guy. Jackson, there's a lot of first-year guys that are in the playoffs. And if you didn't expect much, you should never hired him.
Well, I think he's also – hold on, real quick. I'll just say I think he's also maybe off the hook a little bit because he's the offensive coordinator of one of the best offenses in the league that had
but
career seasons.
That's a little fake too, Nick. Come on, let's be honest. This team has been god-awful in the second half. Coaches get together at halftime, make some adjustments. Our coach ain't doing it. I don't know what he's doing. The offense wasn't as good as everybody thinks it was. I mean, if you look at who we really did it against, they weren't that great. I mean, I just want him, when you're the head coach, you're supposed to oversee everything. I'm sorry, you got to take some heat, and I hope he does. I just hope Jerry, we need Jerry to be desperate. That's the only time he makes moves that are the best for the team, and hopefully he's desperate enough to make the right call with DC and go get some players at free agency. We talked about it. We know who I would love for to see it, but go make moves. Spend the money on defense. I know it's not as flash like it is offense, but that's where all your help needs to come, most of your help anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement there, and I'm with you on the offense not being perfect. I just think, I think Shoddy, I don't think he's getting a pass so much. His team didn't make the playoffs, but he's a first-year coach. He's not going to lose his job. So I think that's part of it. But does he need to be better? Yeah, he does. He does. And there were some, there were some coaching, time management situations that, I think he will get better. I would hope so. And I think he's got to get a defensive coach. I've said this before. He's got to get a defensive coach that he trusts 100%. And whether or not he says that, you can't trust the defense this year. It doesn't matter if you love the guy or not. It doesn't matter if you're related to him. There's no way you could trust this defense. So he's got to get a coordinator in here that he trusts on, that they when he turns his back, the offense, the defense is going to go and make the right plays, and they just obviously didn't. So.
Well, he's got to do the hiring.
I agree.
Let him pick the DC.
Yeah, because the DC is going to affect him. It affects his record. Defensive coordinators don't have records, of what your record is. Your head coach record is for sure.
Shoddy's making about $4 million, which is chump change. The guy in Chicago is making 13. So I don't think Shoddy's got more than next year. If this happens again next year, I could see him gone.
And that's part of the problem, Rob, because think about it. If that's what the head coach is making, what do you think the defensive coordinator is making?
I know. Listen, we talk about it. Unfortunately, he don't want to pay. He don't want to pay.
And that's always been a shock to me because there's no cap there. So I can't understand that one. I just don't. But all right, Rob. Well, thanks for the call. Good stuff. And I'm sure we'll hear from you all off season. So thanks for that. And he's right in that the offense. I give them a little bit of a pass just because they have just had to do everything. They've had to dominate every single time, and sometimes they do, and then sometimes that they have lulls in the second half and all that. But the defense doesn't. Give the defense credit for their consistency. It's just consistent. We're going to give up plays in every quarter. And they're not gonna they're not gonna change. They're just gonna continue to give up plays, and that's kind of what happened. All right, let's go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. I'll be right back after this.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for you. Gillette's Best Shave has a new look this season, and they've got one that sticked out in Cowboys colors just for us. We're going to want to run, not walk to this one, y'all. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor isn't just Gillette's best shave. With 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion, it's the best a Cowboys fan can get. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's Best Shave is also available as heated.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette. We taped our TV portion of the show this week, so now we have a little bit of time to kind of talk when we want to. It is Monday, January the 5th. I can say that for sure. Now, just you guys know, and I understand that everybody has a good knowledge of when the shows are. We do change the schedule now and again. That's something I think we can get better at, and we should. We can work on that, and it starts really with us, with the communication and stuff like that. We'll work on getting an idea where you can go to the website and get the updated schedules of the shows. Wednesdays for our show is going to be 9:30 a.m. Central Time. We'll go for about an hour and a half. So we will only do one show a week. Did not win that battle. We are going to go a little bit longer, and just like we did last year. So we do have a couple of shows right now as we tape the TV shows today, and then we'll do one maybe next week as well. But Wednesday 9:30 Central Time is going to be our time. All right, JR in Avondale, Arizona. JR, what's up?
How you doing, Nick? Happy New Year.
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. Hey, just to set the record straight, it was 17 days straight I called in. So
what did I say? Did I say 13, 14?
You said something. Yeah.
You had 17 shows in a row.
17 shows in a row. It ended when the day Woody was there. I couldn't get through, but then I got through the following 2 days. So I was trying to make 20 days in a row, but I actually got 19 out of the 20. So
it's like three full weeks, and then some.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. So I don't know, just the luck. My luck was there, I guess. So got through all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, got a lot of the stuff I was going to talk about has been talked about, but when Shoddy got the job, I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but listening to him, I liked what he had to say and kind of his vision of what he wanted to do with the team. But then yesterday he was talking about that they were going to get to the bottom of what was wrong, and they're going to work their butts off and to figure it out. That caught me off guard. I mean, you gave up 511 points, the most points ever for Dallas Cowboys defense, and you gave up 71 points in 2 games to the Giants.
What's the problem? What's the problem with the statement? I don't understand.
I don't understand why he would even say something. He should know the problem. The problem is...
What's the problem, then?
Defense is terrible.
But that's not your answer, though. You don't just tell Jerry the defense is terrible.
Well, this is when he's talking to the media.
Well,
so,
but What do you want him to say? Maybe I'm confused. I'm confused of what you're saying. I mean, he's like, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Yeah. I mean, like, it's just like saying, I'm sick. Okay, you're sick. You know you're sick. But you go to the doctor so you can find out exactly why and what you're doing and how to get better at it.
Well, he had said that he expected to compete for the Super Bowl and be in the playoffs, and he was going to get to the bottom and figure out why they weren't. That doesn't seem like. I mean, you should know. He knows what's wrong. It's the defense. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're saying the same thing. Everybody knows it's the defense, but it's just okay. At this point, there's 27 coaches on the staff. Half of them are on defense. You've got these players under contract. You know, which ones are you going to keep? Which ones do you want to build around? Which other coordinator should you get in here? Do you need another position coach? Do we need different voices at certain coaches here? There's a lot of questions here. Are we practicing the right way? Should we go ones versus ones? Should we keep, now go the ones versus twos, whatever? A lot of different things to try to figure out how we get. Yeah, the defense. Defense was terrible. Got it. But how do you fix it? And with what? You can't just blow the whole thing up because you got contracts.
I got it. But, Nick, when Zimmer was there last year, the defense was bad. But as the year went on, the defense got better. They made improvements. They made changes.
And what happened? But what happened?
It's the same defense yesterday as it was back in September.
Are you telling me that last year the defense was okay, was not very good in the middle of the season, and at the end of the year it got better?
They did get better. I looked it up before I opened my mouth and stuck my foot in it.
No, but
but
why? Did anything happen? Maybe did anything happen in the middle of the season that all of a sudden did any particular player maybe get hurt and miss 5 straight weeks, but then he comes back and actually played and led the entire defense, led the team in sacks? I mean, like, it was
right.
Micah.
You're absolutely right.
And so,
you're right.
And someone said that to me on Twitter, or I didn't like your mailbag answer because you said Micah would have helped him get in the playoffs. He didn't help him last year. I'm like, Micah missed 4 games and they went 1-3. Like, I think he would have, and I think he would have helped this team to the point to make the playoffs. I'm not sure, but
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
But I get it. Like, you're right, and that's why these coaches get crucified when they come up here and they talk and they say some stuff that everyone's like, well, of course. I mean, give us something better than that. We all see that. But really, he's probably hamstrung in what he can say about what specifically do we need to do. Do we need to focus more on analytics? Do we need to focus less on analytics? Do we need to switch these things up? A lot of different things, I think, that have to be, this is the time of year to start doing that. So
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree. I just don't. I hopefully they bring somebody in. I know when Nolan was here, it was bad, and then Dan Quinn came in and they got better pretty quick. I hope they bring in someone that can work with the players they got because they can't change out everybody.
You're so right, and I thanks for the call. And then JR, you are another. You're an example of. I mean, when you think about the callers that we've had on this show already, and we're about to have the 6th one. Irene, Davion, Brian, Rob, JR, and I'm about to get to Sergeant Sue in just a second. You can't sneak anything past you guys. Like these are the, I think, pretty much all storyline team right here. So you guys are the ones that are like, don't tell me it's the defense. Ray Charles knew it was the defense. It's not that. And so I can see your frustration of like, man, tell me more than that. Because I could tell you, I know this is the problem. So I just kind of bear with them a little bit. I mean, that's the stuff that they're going to say, but they know this has got to be a deep dive into this. All right, let's go to Sergeant Sue, Fort Worth.
At ease, everybody. How you doing, Nick?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, but I like the Ray Charles knew was the defense. That was a great one, man. I wanted to.
Is that even a good reference anymore? I mean,
I don't really know. I don't want to say anything on air. I'm not 100% sure. So, no, man, I wanted to call. I do this all the time. I take notes and I decide what I want to say before I call in. And then I hear some callers, and those notes change completely. So I'm kind of talking about some things that other people have talked about. I will say that according to another can I say who, if I read a tweet from a certain person, am I allowed to say that? on air? Or no,
Let's
I don't
go for it. Go for it.
My bad, brother. I saw John Machota, and I saw him quote some of the things that Jerry had said before after the game, and he certainly did not blame this all on Flus. He actually said that he cannot blame it all on Flus. He said that it's taken years to get, pretty much from what I read, it sounded like he said it's taken years to get this bad. And I think that's somewhat, depending on how you read it, and y'all know how I am. I read things with a more positive scope, and I think that was him somewhat taking accountability. You know what I mean? He was saying that, when we had DQ, he was great too, but we still couldn't get the job done. And I think that's Jerry and Co. Like I always say, I don't blame everything on Jerry, and I also don't give him all the credit. I think that was his way of saying, like, hey, we have to look at what we've been doing. You know what I mean? So I don't think that Jerry will blame everything on Flus. He hasn't yet. And I do think that as far as him, like I've said this a lot, in the beginning of the season on his radio station, he said, that he has a natural urgency because of his age, and I think that if this was Jerry of the past, I could have maybe written that off as his, like, him just saying things, and it is what it is. It's about action. But I think he also showed that natural urgency this season. Like I've said before, I mean, and all the free agents that he's gotten, the trades that he's made, I mean, I think he has shown that natural urgency, and I do think that he is taking his age into consideration. Now, when it comes to the DC, regardless of your relationship, regardless of your friendship or anything like that, and regardless of whether he didn't have players, I think at the end of the day, as a leader, which the DC is a leader, you can't be like, oh, no, I tried, but my guys didn't do the job. No, as a leader, you got to take the responsibility. And I think that, unfortunately, I think that it's time to move on. The numbers that he and his squad put up is unacceptable. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. It's unacceptable. And you can't really twist my arm, my positive arm. You can't really twist my arm to believe that he deserves a second chance, and hopefully Jerry in the front office agrees with that. Yeah. The thing that I'll say with Shotty is I've praised him a lot this season about self-evaluation and the things that he says, and how he says how he seems to be a great leader of men. That's the type of leader that I like. But at the end of the day, he has a grand opportunity now to really put all the things that he's been talking about into fruition. This is going to be, his first offseason after, a season, of being a head coach. All these things that he's saying, I'm going to work my ass off to figure out exactly what I need to do, and trust me, I won't sleep, and blah, blah, blah. That's all fine and dandy, but now it's time, So I think we're going to see a lot about the type of man and the type of coach that Shotty is next season. And I want to throw one little silly thing out there, Nick. I'm sorry, I don't want to be too long-winded, but one little silly thing. As I was watching Clowney and just him going off and going crazy and just thinking, like, man, he was a late sign. Like, we were seeing, what can he bring to the table? Like, is he going to bring a spark? Like, what does he have left in the tank type of thing? And then to come in and, like, lead the team in sacks and do what he did. It's weird, and you might look at me crazy, and it's okay, but it kind of gave me, like, the George Selvey vibes. Like, I know Clowney is not George Selvey. Clowney is way more, established, but it kind of gave me that. I think it was 2013 or something. I honestly don't remember, 2012, where we signed George Selvey and was like, oh, yeah, let's see what this guy, and then he kind of came in, and because of a depleted defensive line, he came in and actually kind of, like, quote-unquote shined. Just like, I don't know, it was just weird to me. So I don't know whether that's something that you noticed or not, but anyways, man, hey, it was a great season. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm not going to stop. It's going to be a little harder, with one time a week, but I'm going to try my best, man. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate the call. I never really thought of it that way, the George Selvey part. I know what you're saying, though, just a guy that kind of came in, and also because the guys around him weren't that great, that you could lead the team in sacks with that. I think Selvey led it with 6.5 and 8, and it was 8, finished with 8.5 sacks, 3 in the final game of the season for Clowney, and if they, that's NFC Defensive Player of the Week type stuff. He won't win that. I'm sure there's someone else that played a significant game can go out there and probably win that. But it was very impressive. In fact, no player in Cowboys history has ever had that stat line before. 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery in a game since they started keeping stats in '82. I find that kind of hard to believe, but that's what the Cowboys PR was sending out. All right, let's go to Lester in Minnesota.
Good afternoon, Nick.
How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm a little bit sad that the football season is over, even though We all knew it was going to be over after yesterday. We're still sad about it.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, now we can focus on the next stage, which is the off season. As I was saying a week or two ago, I think we just need to – what I would do, I would try to find a veteran middle linebacker that can cover, read the defense and tackle the offense, read the offense and tackle. 7-9-1 is not really where I thought we would be. I thought we would be 10 wins, but it is what it is. I don't advocate for anybody losing their jobs, but hey, if you go to work and your boss gives you an assignment and you mess it up several times, then I don't know if you really belong in that particular job.
Right.
So we'll just leave that there.
Yeah.
And I watched the game yesterday. I thought the first half was pretty decent, but then the second half it was just more the same, man. So I don't know. I mean, you can't burn it down and rebuild it, but I like one of the topics that you were talking about earlier, who you build around. I like those 4 players that you can build around on the defense. And then, like I said, what I would do, I would add a middle linebacker, a veteran, not a kid, a veteran. Go find one wherever you need to find them at. And that's all I have, man. What do you think?
Well, I appreciate that, and thanks for the call, Lester. You're right. You said the linebacker, it hasn't really been talked a lot about. You guys might talk about this when y'all do your spaces on storyline spaces on Twitter, but to see Eric Kendricks running around for the 49ers, and they signed him after I believe it was after their guy got hurt. I'm trying to think, his name escapes me. Fred Warner, sorry, he's one of the best players in the league, I think. You could have signed him. Could have got him at some point this year. I mean, probably money wasn't what they probably he wanted more money than what they were trying to pay and all that. But I mean, to think about where you were at linebacker this year and needed guys that know how to play the position, know how to cover, know how to hit, know how to read the team, the offense. Could have used a guy like that. So to kind of see him in that other role right there, and they're over here struggling at linebacker all year long. It just, it is what it is. I mean, but this is Kenneth Murray's a free agent. I don't think we have to wait till March the 11th to determine if he's going to be back or not. I don't think that's gonna happen. All right, let's go, Chris in San Angelo.
Mr. Nick, good afternoon to you, sir.
What's up?
I've never said good afternoon. I just wanted to do that.
Yeah, well, it's definitely afternoon.
Definitely. Hey, sir, I had a question and then a comment I wanted to add. Going forward, do you think in the offseason, do you think there should be more or less of an emphasis of the thoughts of the coaching staff on personnel decisions? As in, Coach Schottenheimer and the offensive coordinator, and then depending on the direction the defense goes, said coordinator. Because it kind of seems like on defense, mainly, there's always talk of players not fitting a certain scheme or not in the right scheme. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then I also wanted to say congratulations to you on your 25 years. Your longevity and all your accomplishments.
Thank you.
So, I mean, I remember when you were a bit under the weather, I thought, hey, Nick can't miss because there's no suitable backups for you.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. That I have a talented group around me, but it's more than I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss. I think it comes down, what do they call it, FOMO? I don't want that. I don't even know what that's like. The last game And what Chris is alluding to is I put out a tweet out there that it's 25 consecutive seasons of not missing a game, so it's 514 total games in a row, and I'm proud of that. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm proud of that. I don't mean to be self-serving. I know not everybody can do that. People have had different situations, whether they got sick, their family got sick, something happened, a funeral, wedding, whatever it is that they have to miss, and so it hasn't happened to me, but I'm just, there's no other place I'd rather be than at the game. Preseason, playoffs, regular season that don't count. I'm in for it. If they got the scoreboard on, I want to be there, and so that's just the way that is. And when that changes, maybe I need to think about doing something else.
Well, not anytime soon.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there for you.
Thank you.
You are the best.
Well, thank you.
You have a great one.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
You bet.
Yeah. It's been a fun run, and I know there's been every now and again there are a few comments in there about, well, you haven't seen a Super Bowl in there, and I understand that. I believe me, I know what I've seen and what I haven't seen, and this was the year that we were gonna see some new things, and we did. Saw a tie. Was kind of hoping for an NFC Championship game, but got a tie instead. Whatever. All good, but thanks for bringing that up, and just to clarify, it's actually 27 seasons, but the 25 is just the 25 straight years in a row since I haven't missed a game. The last game that I missed, Troy Aikman was the quarterback, and I believe it's either Tampa or Baltimore. Those are the two games I missed that season in 2000. I can't ever remember which one came first. I think it was Tampa. Yeah, the last game was Tampa, December 3rd, 2000. I missed that game. I come back and I watched the Washington game. The Cowboys beat Washington that day. It was Troy Aikman's last game, actually, as a Cowboy. So that was the start the streak. It's been 514 games since Troy Aikman played, because that was the start of my streak. All right. We got Dylan. Northport, Florida is next. Dylan.
Hey, Nick. How's it going, man?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm not sure I've done anything consecutively 514 times in a row in my life, so that's awesome, dude. Congrats, and
thank you.
That's awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course. We've talked before, and this kind of is referencing, I guess, Rob's call a little bit. He's been giving Shadi a lot of grief in our group chat, and Shadi's not blameless. But, we talked before about the symbiotic relationship between the phases of the game before. Like, a great offense makes a defense with good pass rushers really good, kind of like the Dan Quinn era, until you get to the playoffs and you're playing against good defenses, and then that formula changes. You get a great defense, you pair with a good rushing attack, and that's a nice formula. Like, there's pairings that you should be shooting for when you're building the team. This season, we found out a great offense paired with a historically bad defense is not a winning formula. But I said before the season, and Rob kind of yelled at me for this, but I said that the defense is looking to me like it probably needs to be rebuilt a little bit, because there was holes and question marks all over the D-line, corner, safety, linebackers, basically everywhere except for edge. And that was before Micah. And then Micah leaves, and now you just got it everywhere as a whole. And I kind of like what they're doing now in this. I mean, I think it's easy to say that they are rebuilding the defense now at this point, or at least they need to be. And I like they're finally building it, at least the defensive line, from the inside out, because they've always been outside in. And, I'm kind of tired of watching us get our butt kicked in the run game in the playoffs and late season and all that. So now they're building it from the inside out. And now if we can get, a linebacker in the draft like a Sonny Styles or one of those guys, I think they're cooking with something here. They're going to have some guys healthy next season, like Ravel coming back without a brace. That's going to be nice. So I'm looking forward to kind of what they do. They can go a lot of different directions with this rebuild on defense. A lot of it's going to depend on what they do at DC, but they got to get a move on that. I know they're not going to wait 10 to 12 days like they said. That would be ridiculous. So hopefully they get a move on that and get that focused, and then we can kind of just go from there. But I'm hoping they continue this inside out kind of style of the rebuild for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. It starts the defensive tackles on the inside, and I want the linebackers to kind of correlate with the new coordinator, but you got to be careful when you do that, because Eberflus was like real quick to get Sanborn and Murray in here, and that didn't work out, obviously. The defense wasn't good, and they weren't good. And so, it probably goes hand in hand. You definitely want your coordinator to figure out who his linebackers are, but you want them both to be good. So you have to be kind of careful when you do that.
Yeah, and if you've got a good player staring at you in the face, whether it's free agency that you want or the draft or whatever, don't worry about scheme fits. That's how you end up with Taco Charlton instead of TJ Watt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's not worry about that because these DCs are in and out, whether they get promoted. That's something to consider. Brian Broaddus brought that up too when you're looking at certain guys that might get a head coaching job next year, the year after, if they have a good defense here in Dallas. That's a consideration because then you're just kind of in the same position without a DC. But these guys all come and go, but the players are the guys that are here. So go get you some nasty players, and any DC you bring in with the salt can make it work, whatever that scheme is. So, yeah, that's all I got, man.
No doubt about it. I mean, Dan Quinn got better on defense when Micah was there, and then he hasn't been as good without a guy like that. So it's funny how that works, and Dan and give Dan credit. I mean, they brought him in and the defense was really good, but they also brought in Micah Parsons and. Hey, they lucked into that. I mean, they drafted Micah at 12. That's where they wanted to take a linebacker. They didn't want to take a linebacker earlier than that. But at 12, they were okay with going from 10 to 12, trading back and taking a linebacker. It wasn't until week 2 of the season when I think DeMarcus got hurt, maybe, and Randy Gregory was... No, not Randy Gregory. But I'm trying to think what all happened. Somebody got suspended, and somebody got hurt. And next thing you know, they needed a defensive end, and so they just played Micah there. And then that changed everything. But that game is what kind of turned it around. But I don't think everyone was on board with Micah Parsons as a full-time pass rusher. Once that happened, then we saw a change there. All right, Zach in Atlanta.
Hey, what's up, Nick in Frisco?
How are you doing?
Doing all right, man. I think what you were just talking about, Randy Gregory, did he have COVID or was that Zach Martin? Because I feel like we lost a bunch of players that first game.
Zach Martin missed the Tampa Bay game. I remember that one. He missed
That's
Tampa
what it was.
Bay.
That's right.
But there was an injury, and there was a couple things happening in that first game there that happened.
Yeah.
I guess it was that year, though. You're right. It was that year against Tampa. Because Micah didn't play great in that game against Tampa, Brady, and all that. They almost won, but he didn't have a great game. But it was just they needed some changes there on the pass rush, and ended up it probably was Gregory. I think Gregory might have missed.
I know Tank was injured and Gregory was suspended, like you said, or COVID.
Yeah.
Regardless, that's in the past. We're talking about the present. Presently, you are at a 25-year streak of not missing a game. To echo Chris and many of us, congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, you and Beam, y'all do a great job. The whole team, we're grateful for y'all.
You know why?
I'm going to say something. I don't know how it's going to land.
Zach, hold on, I'm going to say something.
But I had this thought. I feel like the Cowboys are now the Jets. They're riding the high of Broadway Joe Namath to this day. And for us, the documentary comes out right before the week 1 of this season. I'm catching up on stuff I didn't live through. I was born during the dynasty, didn't live through it. But, we're still sniffing the fumes of, the triplets and all that, my generation. And it's just kind of like, am I going to be sitting here, another 30 years with not even a championship, but an NFC championship? We're both waiting for the same thing, man.
Yeah.
I want you to see it and cover it. I want to see it for myself. A little discouraged, but that's part of being a fan. I'm not going anywhere. But it's just the way this season went. But all that to say, man, that's all I got. I'll tune in when I can this draft season, and we'll do what we can.
All right.
Have a good one, man.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to Randy in Texarkana. Randy, what's up?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Happy offseason to you.
You too.
Let's get it going. Hey, So I wanted to bring up something that I brought up a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't really touch on it too much, but I heard Nate and Jesse bring it up, something very similar anyway. And so I was kind of wanting to retouch on it, and it's changing the way they do things, the rut that they're in. You know, for instance, the always picking an injured person in the second round. One, they don't need to do that anymore. But what I brought up was all the budget 1-year contracts they keep doing.
Mm-hmm.
They really need to get away from that. I get why he tries to get players on the cheap, but that's precisely what you get, cheap players. Now, I hate to say it that way. Obviously, they're better than me because they made it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I just think that they just really need to do things completely different. I know he says that every year that we're going to try something new and all that, but they really don't. They keep falling back into the same rut and always trying to do that. They need to focus on getting good picks in the draft for the 4 and 5 year contracts like you referred to. And if they're going to go after free agents, instead of getting 5 or 6 on the cheap, just get 1 or 2 that are going to make an impact and hold on to them and build around those guys. And I don't know the statistics on how many other teams do that. I don't know if that's very common for people to do the 1-year contracts, but it just feels like we do it more than anybody. And that just might be because we're so close to it that that's all we focus on. Yeah. But do you know? Do the other teams do it that way too? Or
what players are you talking about? Like the 1-year guys? Like you talking about Clowney?
Yeah. Well, you can't use him because he did all right. So don't do that.
Well, but I'm just saying.
Like a lot of the cornerbacks that we have, they're bringing in from other teams, and they might be a first or second rounder for somebody else. Well, they release them, and we bring them in and say, well, this guy had a first round grade. Well, that first team cut him for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just because you have a high grade on them doesn't mean they're always going to pan out. And
yeah.
Jamarcus Russell was a number 1 overall pick back when he was drafted, and he was considered a flop. So that you really can't go by that table that you set. You know what I mean? Like let's go for what is proven.
Right.
And I know where you're probably going to say next as well. To get those players, you're going to overpay for. I know the Steven saying you overpay for good. No, I get that, but the other way hasn't worked. So let's just try it one time. And hey, if it bites us in the butt, I mean, it can't be any worse than what we're already doing.
Right. Well,
I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, a lot of the guys that you're talking about, though, they some of these guys that they traded for, and they had 1 year left, and that's kind of why it works. That's why they make these trades. I see 6 players, and I know there's more, but I just wrote down 6 guys that the Cowboys traded for this year, and of those 6 that I have written down, 4 of them are first-round picks by their other team, and one of them is I believe a second-round pick, and then one is like a 6th-round pick. And so the best one of them all was Pickens, and he was a second-round pick. But Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, Kenneth Murray, Kyer Elam, all first-round picks. So to your point, you're making that point that just because you were a first round pick by someone doesn't mean you've ever played that way and your team got rid of you for a reason and all that. So Javonte Williams is another example, though. 1 year, they signed him for a 1-year deal. He's now a free agent. I mean, for what he signed for, he probably didn't want to sign a 1-year deal, but the Cowboys didn't want to pay a lot for him. So they're like, hey, why don't you just go and bet on yourself? And if it works out, then we'll be here again. And it did work out. So now here he is back at the table again. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean,
and I get that one worked out, but he was also a injured player. Let's go after the injured. Let's go after the. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's hindsight 2020 type of thing with that argument. The running back was great and all that, but we didn't know that ahead of time, and so they go and get the player that has an injury history. That's why we're able to get him for 1 year. Or
Randy, maybe I'm missing your point. Tell me again. What is the point? You wish the Cowboys would do what?
I wish they would quit going after the gamble of let's get this guy on a 1 year. Because he has an injury history or he gets in trouble off the field, maybe we can fix him. Let's stop going after that. Let's go after somebody that's been in the league for 4 or 5 years, wants a change of scenery, and he's proven to be a very good player. And go ahead and lock him down for 4 or 5 years. And if you do that for a few seasons in a row, before you know it, you've got at least a handful of very good players instead of all these one-year rentals that are hopefully maybe good. And I get it works out with like a Clowney and a running back Williams, but I feel, to me, it feels like they miss on more than they hit on when they do it that way.
Yeah. I just think you have an opportunity to have a better deal by signing him to a 1-year deal that you can get out of. And I mean, think about it. I'm looking at some of the guys that they did sign this year. Dante Fowler, they signed him for a year. I mean,
I know, but why would you want to get out of it if you know he's a really good player?
But would you want? What if I told you they signed Dante Fowler to a 4-year deal? I mean, would you be okay with that?
No, I wouldn't, because we know coming in that he's a lower-tiered player. That's what I'm getting at. I hate calling players about, lower tier. I hate doing that. That's why I'm kind of skipping over that part of it, and that might be why you're not getting what I'm trying to say. But you know who the top-tier guys are. You know who the middle tier. You know who the bottom tier are. We play around with the middle way too much and lower on occasion. So
I got you.
Every once in a while, they just need to take our Williams from the Jets. We knew he was a top tier. When we brought him in a trade, everybody went nuts. We were all super excited because we knew exactly what we got with him. We need to just keep doing that. And if it's just one player a year, so be it. At least over time, if you've signed them for a handful of years, eventually them guys are going to start stacking up. Look at the Jaguars. They've been terrible for 4 or 5 years. They've been drafting high in the draft. Now all of a sudden, all those guys are piling up on their team, and they're killing it.
4 or 5?
We just,
you got 4 or 5 years for the Jags? Okay, I was going to say 4 or 5 years for the Jags. All right. No, I would have, 4 or 5 decades.
Good players.
Yeah, I got you. All right,
and, that's where I'm at with it.
I hear you, and the thing about it is, thanks for the call, Randy. And the thing about it is that the Cowboys their argument there is that those frontline players that you're talking about are the ones that we drafted that they're paying. So that's where the money of that is going for. But nobody wants to hear that because it's like, that's boring. We already drafted him. I mean, re-signing him isn't fun, but that's what it is. That's what you do. I mean, that's when your parents always say, "Can we go out to eat?" You're like, "No, we have food at home." Like, that's not fun. You don't like food at home. You want to go out to eat. But the food that you have at home is the ones that the Dax and CDs and Tyler Smith and Deron Bland, whether or not that's working out or not. But those are the ones that they're paying big money to. So when you do get to free agency, you don't have a lot of room to do all of that. All right, that might have been the first time in a long time that I remember all 4 of our captains have called in one show. Irene, Rob, Dylan, Randy. All right. I thought that was the last call. We do have a couple more now. Let's go. Dr. Sunshine in Fort Worth. What's up?
Good afternoon, Nick.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just want to put my 2 cents worth in. How proud I am of you, of your 25 years. And I want to even throw a trivia question at you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Can you even tell me how many stadiums you've been in those 25 years? And I know you went to England and probably St. Louis, but a lot of teams change stadiums. Do you even know?
I don't know. I would say 32 teams. I would say probably 20 of those, maybe. We've been to more than one. So I'm guessing, if I just had to guess, I haven't thought of this, I would say probably total stadiums, I would say 58. I don't know.
Okay.
just because, we went to Tokyo and Mexico City and like you said, and the Raiders have had like 9, so or the Rams. But I feel like most of the places we've been to have more than one. And the only team that I've been to 3 stadiums for is Rams, because it was I think it was, in St. Louis, and then obviously now SoFi, and then we also went to the Coliseum for them. So, yeah. But I don't know, 50, 55. It's a good one for me to look up.
Okay. Well, and I also wanted to say that I think your storyline backers would enjoy hearing what you had to go through in COVID and everything to make all those games.
Yeah. I mean, that. I didn't think the streak was going to continue during COVID. I mean, it was just all it took was being in a meeting next to somebody who coughed, and then they have COVID, and now you're out for 10 days. So, or being on a plane. I mean, Des Bryant almost got COVID for me because he was in Baltimore and he was hugging one of our photographers who was a big fan. And next thing you know, that guy's sitting next to me on the plane. So I'm like, well, he has COVID and he was with him. Now I have COVID. Now we're done. But it didn't happen like that. So I got lucky. So,
well, I'm proud of you, and I know everybody appreciates what you bring to the Cowboys, and it means a lot. And I just want to say thanks.
Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Have a good one. All right, let's keep it going here. Let's go, Ronnie in New Jersey.
Hey, Nick. Good afternoon.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I was, you know what? I went into the app and I was like, oh wow, Nick is on.
Yeah.
I was like, at this time, I looked at the time. I'm like,
yeah.
Is it me? Yeah, no, this is actually cool. This is pretty good. I got home from work and I'm like, hey, I get to call in Nick, so let me give it a try.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Nick, I'm actually glad the season's over. To be honest with you, where we were going, I can't wait to see what happens with defensive coordinator. Some of the guys that were calling, they were right. We need a linebacker. We need everybody says you have a quarterback. You need a quarterback on defense. We need a quarterback on defense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if they start with that, I saw Jerry Jones was saying that he's going to see what he's going to do with the defense. He's going to start up with the defense, and I hope he does. 25 years, Nick. 25 years. Congratulations, man. That's a long time, and that's a lot of not seeing an NFC championship. So we're frustrated. I feel bad for you because you're right there, and you get to see all the small amounts of good with all the bad. So congrats on and mentally taking all that in. But, I just wanted to give a call, and I'm glad that you're here in the afternoon. And go Cowboys. And congrats to you and everybody there.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for taking the call, Nick.
All right, thank you. Then that'll be our last caller for the day. But, yeah, I appreciate you guys saying that. I know this. Like, I'm built a little differently than others when it comes to games like that. I love stats. I love finding like fun stats. And so I can find that things like that, I can get interested in any game based off of that. I mean, honestly, like this is how like weird I am. People don't even think like this. And I get it. It's just different. But this is what helps me get through, not get through it. I mean, I love doing it. But like, Jaden Blue goes for like 70 yards in the first quarter and a half, you know what I mean? And so I'm over here talking to our PR staff like, have we ever had 3 100-yard rushers in a season? 3 different guys, because Malik did it with Javonte, of course. So now it would be 3. I mean, it's hard to do. Emmett never got off the field. Dorsett never got off the field. So like, does this ever happen 3 times? And so we found it happened once, 1978, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. And Robert Newhouse is one of them. Like, cool. Well, Jaden Blue has to get to 100 yards, and he didn't. But that's the kind of stuff that I'm thinking of in the middle of the game. And I get it. Some of you guys that have called are like, already like, I'm done. I'm not watching this, or Jerry's got to fix this, or this has got to be fixed, and all that. And that's cool. I just know these off seasons are long. Nothing's going to happen for a while. I'm talking about the game. This is a football game, and as I said before, if they're turning the lights on, I'm in. So I'm in for that, and it's been fun, and I hope we can keep doing it. And what I was going to say earlier, I couldn't get my word in to Zach, but I was trying to tell him of why Beam does it and why I've done it. It's because we love it. We just love it. We just want to be a part of it. I mean, you know how many people that have other jobs that just spend their money, their last dollar to go to the Cowboys-Chargers game in December and take their family and do all that, and it's very expensive. They have to do that to go one time a year or once every 2 years or whatever. And, man, we get to do it every day, like every game. We get to do it. And I'm telling you that doesn't. I don't lose sight of that. I promise you, I don't. And you know, I understand how people just die so they could go to these games. And so I'm not going to sit here and be bored and go, oh, I have to go to this game and all that. Somebody said that in the press box yesterday. Somebody walked by and they're like, oh man, boy, you got to keep the streak alive for this. I'm like, yeah. And I reminded this person, I've seen worse. I've seen worse games. And you know, I love it. And yeah, I'm kind of glad the season's over a little bit so we can kind of, you know, take a breath. But before too long, I'll be chomping at the bit like you guys. All right. Again, we do our shows every Wednesday. We'll do it here again on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. That's the time we'll do the show, 9:30 a.m. every Wednesday. All right. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. See you then on Cowboy Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!